Welcome back to my G1 Retro Reviews. Today we're taking a look at the 4th episode of the original Transformers series, Transport to Oblivion. In this episode, we established the idea of the space bridge, something that would kind of become a staple of Transformers fiction in future years. As we begin this episode, we can see that the little annex that the Autobots had next to their base in the previous episode is now gone. And I don't think we'll see it back again. But who knows? We'll just have to keep an eye out for it. But now in its place is Optimus Prime, Ironhide, and a vaguely seeker-shaped rock formation. How did this rock even get shaped like this? Did one of the Autobots carve this to use as a practice dummy like Rey in The Last Jedi? Anyway, I am not surprised that Cliffjumper mistook this for an actual Decepticon.
Sorry guys, but it kinda looked like a Decepticon.
It's interesting how not only do the Decepticons have their ship as their underwater base, but it looks like they built like a little city around it. It kind of reminds me of the SDF-1 from Robotech in a way. I wonder what they use these little buildings for. Do each of the Decepticons have their own little underwater house? Or are they something boring like labs or storage? By the way, neither the Decepticons' original ship or this new ship were ever named in the show. It wasn't until Beast Wars that the Decepticons' original ship would be called the Nemesis.
The Nemesis! The Nemesis.
And it would be even more years after that their new ship and base of operations would become called the Victory in the Transformers Complete Arc reference book, which is kind of a weird name for a Decepticon ship. When I think of Victory, I think of the Japanese series Victory, or Victory Leo, or his combined mode with Starsaber, Victory Saber, or the episode Victory from Beast Wars, where Optimus Primal pulls a Superman.
Is it a bird?
Maybe a plane.
It's Optimus!
Victory just seems like a very heroic name for an evil Decepticon ship. When we first see Shockwave on Cybertron, he is in his gun mode shooting at someone or something, but we never see who or what. Maybe it was Elita 1's crew, who came over to borrow a cup of Energon. Also, looks like Shockwave hasn't had his morning coffee yet. Wait, are they pouring electricity into Energon cubes as if it was a liquid? What should I expect? This was the 80s. People didn't know how electricity worked back then. This is probably a complaint I'll make in future episodes, but I'm not a fan of the generic rock music that Jazz is playing here.
You picked up a great beat on your supercar stereo, Jazz.
Yeah, get down.
I think it's the fact that they constantly reuse it whenever they need to have someone playing music in the show.
Yeah! My audio receptors. What is that noise?
Humans call it music.
Not this human.
It just gets old quickly. I think it would have been better if they had other songs to give them more variety. Or, how cool would it have been if they used songs from Gem and the Holograms instead? Then it would be like a pseudo crossover, hinting that the Transformers and Gem take place in the same universe. Kind of like how Transformers and G.I. Joe sort of take place in the same universe as well.
Autobots, assemble on the double.
You could have just said Autobots Assemble and it would have been way cooler. You didn't need to add the on the double part. Although, I guess if you didn't, then Marvel might have sued you.
Avengers
Assemble.
I'll get them after I've taken care of you.
Wait, did Cliffjumper just punch Megatron in the crotch plate? This is the second episode in a row that some bot gets hit below the timing belt. Low blow, Cliffjumper, literally. Maybe Megatron should pick on a bot his own size. Also, don't push your luck, Cliffjumper. You don't want to know what happens to your future namesakes. The fight between Prime and Megatron is surprisingly well choreographed and animated in this short scene.
Thanks for the power boost, Prime. Optimus. Take Ironhide. He's hurt. Ironhide's been hit bad. We've got to get him back to headquarters fast.
Ooh, Ironhide was lucky this time. As we know, he won't be so lucky in the future. Is this the second episode in a row where Ironhide has gotten hurt? Again, you may want to be more careful there, Ironhide.
And that rear-end assembly looks like it could use some old-fashioned blowtorch work to secure it.
Wait, did Sparkplug just say he wanted the blowtorch Ironhide's loose rear end? Wow, Spike is a pretty fast runner to be keeping up with Bumblebee in his car mode. Although I think he's been hanging out with the Autobots too long, because it looked like he tried to transform himself and ended up flat on his face. Whoa, Megatron, put that thing away! This is supposed to be a kid's show. Once again, Cliffjumper is mistakenly colored like Bumblebee. No wonder these guys would become Repaint Brothers in future toy lines. Even back in the original series, when they were their own completely separate molds, they were still getting the two of them confused.
Stand back, Bumblebee! It's my turn at bat!
This is the first time we see the Autobots playing baseball, but it won't be the last.
Ravage! Oh, no, you don't. Not this time!
I like how it seems like the Autobots have learned that Soundwave needs to press his eject button in order to release his cassette minions. I guess he just can't will his chest to open on its own.
This time I'll blast more than your shoulder. Ironhide, look out! Thanks for helping me, Optimus. Don't mention it.
Ironhide is lucky that Optimus was there to save him. One more blast to the shoulder might have done it.
Yes, making it easier to cut you down the side.
Apparently Megatron has pulled a Mega Man and stolen Cutman's ability. No, wait, Cutman had the rolling cutter. It was Metal Man who had the Metal Blade Saw Blade ability. Aw man, that was almost a good Mega Man reference. In this episode, they make it sound like the space bridge can only be used at certain times. But in future episodes and series, they seem like they can just use them whenever. I suppose that since this is a new technology in this episode, maybe it has some limitations. And maybe later they perfected it so that they can use it whenever they want.
Starscream? Retreat? Never!
I can think of a few times when Starscream's retreated.
I think we better get out of here! Decepticons! Retreat! Decepticons! Retreat!
Hey, it looks like Bumblebee canonically has a false chest. See? There are two front windows on top of each other. This is another one of those Mandela effect moments in this show for me. Again, it's super obvious that the second Starscream is supposed to be Skywarp, and I thought for sure that Rhino fixed this error in their DVD release, but nope, still two Starscreams in both the Rhino and Shout Factory releases. So yeah, what else is there to say? They save Spike, Megatron ends up taking a trip to Cybertron, and that's the end of the episode. Kind of your standard G1 episode. It is notable that this is the first episode where they introduced the idea of a space bridge. Like I said earlier, it's a concept that they continue to reuse on and off as recently as Cyberverse. This episode also kind of introduces the duo of Spike and Bumblebee. In More Than Meets the Eye, it was Hound who fulfilled the role of Autobot liaison. Then earlier in the episode we saw Spike with Jazz. But from here on out, it's pretty much Spike and Bumblebee. Well, what did you think of this episode, Transport to Oblivion? Let me know down in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe and do all that other fun stuff. And join me next time for the next episode of G1. Roll for it. See you then.